Ladies and gentlemen, don't adjust your sets. The greatest tag team in the history of sports entertainment commentary is back together. And we're talking NXT Takeover WarGames, this time on Wrestling with the Business.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wrestling with the Business. And no, your eyes are not deceiving you. We are in the same room.
These are palatial studios. I'm impressed.
Thank you. You like the background here? You went to some of those shows with me.
Specifically wrestling themed. I like it.
Welcome back to Wrestling with the Business. We're talking about NXT Takeover WarGames that happened this past weekend.
Hey gang, before we get into the latest and greatest in the world of professional wrestling, we wanted to tell you about another show we've been binging lately.
Now, if you're anything like us, you're constantly rereading the books you love, listening to your favorite song, or watching your favorite movies. But we also like to get a fresh take on the things that we know and love. Scarifier does exactly that for the horror genre of film.
Scarifier is hosted by a couple of steely-eyed missile men, aptly named the Ace and Gov. Now, these guys have extensive experience in the performance genre, whether it be music, the stage, film, or, dare I say it, the squared circle itself.
Each week, Ace and Gov train their eyes and ears on a new target of the genre, and nobody is safe. Classic, foreign, indie, slasher, and Gorno alike.
So if you've got a hot date with a complete psycho, a classic you want a fresh take on, or just some time to kill in the car on your way into work, you should check out Scarifier. Scarifier at the link below.
Now back to the action. And what a heck of a show.
Yeah, I mean, I really loved it. I thought that some of the performers might end up sandbagging us a little bit because of the big show the next night, especially the people that had crossover performances. But I really think we had a show that delivered like every other NXT show.
Yeah, it was very, very good. We're going to talk about those matches. There are only 5 matches on the card, 4 announced previously. If you saw my my predictions video, there were only 4 matches announced. And I got to say, I did pretty good with my predictions.
Not bad, not bad.
So let's get right into it. First match on the kickoff show was a Cruiserweight Classic. Angel Garza versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. What'd you think of this match?
I thought this match felt a little short. And once again, it was a match that deserved to be on the main card, and it totally wasn't there. Speaking from the business perspective a little bit, I think that WWE's moving in the right direction. The more people you can draw to the pre-show, the more people that are actually going to watch the show. But they're not using the level of stars that I think that they should be using in order to get the type of eyes that they want to draw it. And if you show up and watch it, you're gonna like that match. It's gonna be one of the best matches of the night for you. But unfortunately, they're not putting the stars in that they need to get the attention that they want. And so they end up somewhere in the middle. So I think if they start putting some higher level mid-card performers instead of low-level card performers in it, I think that they'll get what they want, or maybe they could do some high-level tag teams, or maybe even do something crazy like put a belt on the line, something like that. I think there's a lot of little things they could do to improve it, but this match in particular I thought was just fine. Just great for a kickoff show.
Yeah, this was a nice way to get the crowd warmed up. Got to mention, they were in Chicago. Historically a very good wrestling crowd.
Yeah.
Although you wouldn't know it by watching Survivor Series the next night, but we'll get into that in another video. So Angel Garza defeated Isaiah Swerve Scott. Isaiah Swerve Scott. Wow.
Say that 10 times fast.
So then we move on to the main show, and there were 2 WarGames matches scheduled for this show, and we started with the women's match. This was the match I was most looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. At the beginning of the show, Mia Yim, I think, was carted away in an ambulance. A lot of drama got brought up as a result of that. I'm a huge Mia Yim fan. I was very disappointed to see that happen. I was really hoping that maybe she'd charge out from the back or something, or they'd cut to a video of her breaking out of the ambulance or something kind of cheesy like that. But I really just wanted to see her perform. Unfortunately, she wasn't there for it.
Yep. So the whole story going into this was Mia Yim got picked for the match over Dakota Kai, which ended up playing into the story. When Mia Yim got taken out, Dakota Kai took her place and then turned heel on her best friend and partner, Tegan Knox.
What did you think about that heel turn?
It was unexpected. When Mia Yim was first shown having been attacked, right away I thought, oh, it had to be Dakota Kai. But I didn't expect the heel turn to actually take place here. I thought it was going to build over the next few weeks. So that was a major, major surprise. As she starts to exit the cage and go towards the ring, she stops and turns and just runs full force, kicking Tegan Knox in the face, slamming her in the cage back and forth, banging up her repaired knee, surgically repaired knee. So it was definitely effective and exciting, and like I said, unexpected overall.
Yeah, one thing that got me is I'm a pretty cynical fan of the sport, and I think that usually at the moment that she stops, I'm like, okay, I know what's going to happen next. But I thought she was going to turn around and just walk into the back and be like, see you later, you shouldn't have made me your sloppy seconds. But the fact that she actually did a full heel turn, turned around, charged back into the cage. The other thing that kind of ruined for me is at that point, I knew that Team Ripley was going to go over.
Really?
I know. Well, because they were way down. They were way down, and it's all about the underdog story. And Ripley doesn't, I'm a big fan of Ripley, but she doesn't look like a face. So you've got to do something pretty extreme. You got to find someone even more evil than Richard B. Riddick if Riddick's going to look like a good guy, and she looks kind of like Riddick. So I thought that this, as soon as that happened, I'm like, yep, they're way down. Team Baszler has got to wrestle, right? A lot of the people so they're going to want to maybe try and sandbag it. I'm not going to say they sandbagged it at all. I thought it was a very good show, but at that point, I was kind of like, okay, I knew where we're going. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see what types of big spots or moves we have going from here on out. So I thought it was a really good heel turn. One of the most effective heel turns I've seen in the last little while. I mean, I'm trying to think of the last heel turn I saw that was as good or better than that one. Maybe the heel turn that's going on right now with Seth Rollins is actually the one that I kind of like. But this was a very good heel turn. I thought it was timed perfectly, added a lot of drama to the match, and it really sort of, because this was the first female WarGames match, they really needed to do something to set themselves apart because they're not going to be doing swanton bombs off the top of the cage,
Right.
And I thought this was a really good way to sort of set this match apart from the rest of the show. I thought it was really effective.
Yep. So Team Ripley was down 2-4 against Team Baszler, and they still pulled off the win, and they did it really effectively, I think. With Candice being separated, Io Shirai did a moonsault off the top of the cage, took out a couple people, and then it was just Ripley and Baszler, and Ripley slammed her on the chairs to get the win.
You could tell the crowd was really disappointed that there were no tables in that particular match.
Well, they got their wish later on.
That was a really good play, though, off the crowd, right? She knew they wanted tables. She half pulls it out. Nope, throws it right back in. That was good crowd read on that one.
Yeah, definitely. So next we go to the triple threat match for the number one contendership for the NXT Championship. Pete Dunne versus Damian Priest versus Killian Dane.
Okay, you like all these guys, and I'm not particularly big fans of any of them. What did you think of the match?
I think it was a very effective way to do a triple threat. It wasn't all, one guy goes on the outside and then the other two are just working one-on-one. It was, for the most part, it was a proper triple threat match. It wasn't quite as fast as I expected it would be. It was a little slow, but I think it was still a very good match.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it dragged a little. It was a little long for me, and I don't know if they thought they could get away with that because it was a triple threat match. But it was a little long for me, and they all, for me at least, there wasn't a significant contrast in styles between. They're all sort of, I'll say bruiserweight, right? That's a good fit. They're all sort of in that bruiserweight, like mid-size. They're not super big, but they're not super small. They're kind of in the middle, right? So there wasn't really good contrasting of styles, but I thought the match itself went over pretty well. I thought that would have been a stronger Not saying that they should have replaced it with the Garza Scott match, but I thought that would have been a better kickoff show match.
Interesting.
Finn Balor and Matt Riddle came up next, I think. And this was one where you definitely saw some contrast in styles. Now, this is Finn Balor's first real match, right, in NXT?
Since turning heel, since coming back.
Right, since coming back and turning heel. What did you think about it?
Again, another very good match. Both of these guys are excellent in the ring. It was nice to see a heel Balor wrestle. He didn't change his offense too much, but there were slight details that he changed that really...
like what? What'd you notice?
Just the way he moved around the ring, just the way he threw his kicks and his drop kicks. And then the main thing, his finisher now is the elevated DDT, the 1916, rather than the stomp off the top rope. Because the stomp is visually exciting, gets the crowd up. Anytime anyone goes to the top turnbuckle, the crowd gets excited.
Sure.
This is a bit more muted. This is more of a heel move rather than something to get the crowd excited about.
Well, that's true. I mean, it fits well. It's not a high spot. I mean, and you're plowing the guy's face literally into the mat. I mean, yeah, I could definitely see that. How do you think Riddle did, knowing that he had a big match the night after? Did that mute your, like, knowing he was going to wrestle the next night? Did that mute your?
That's right. We didn't know he was going to wrestle the next night, but he might have.
So does that change your?
Again, I think the match was a little bit slower, but not noticeable to the point that it really affected how the match was viewed.
Yeah, I give him a lot of credit for staying hungry, because he could have easily.
He could have phoned it in.
I mean, it's not like it was the main event match of the night. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, you're coming off this awesome match with the women's WarGames. You get a little bit of a lull. Pete Dunne, we're on the back end of the lull, you know. But instead, they decided, no, we need to keep the crowd up here. We need to keep the crowd hot. And I really thought they did an effective job.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the main event.
So this was the second WarGames match, Undisputed Era versus Team Ciampa, which was Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Dominik Dijakovic, and a fourth member that didn't get announced, and we didn't know who it was going to be until he came out.
I mean, we didn't know, but we...
Did you call that?
No, I did not call that. I did not call that. But I knew that it would be an ex-NXT guy.
I predicted it was going to be Velveteen Dream coming back from injury.
That was a good prediction. But we knew it was going to be an NA. It wasn't like, John Cena's going to come rolling down the ramp or something,
So it ended up being Kevin Owens. For those who didn't see it. This was a great match. I think I enjoyed the women's match better because of the story involved, but this was a proper knockdown car crash of a match.
Was it nice seeing, because you really don't have the opportunity to see all of the Undisputed Era wrestling simultaneously. Did that have any impact? Did that mean anything to you?
I mean, it's always, all four of those guys are fantastic wrestlers. It's always good to see them together or apart. And they've been in the previous two WarGames matches, so we kind of had an idea what to expect. But at the same time, especially that ending, they still managed to bring it up a notch.
Did they use the tables effectively? Yeah, they finally brought the tables out and they really started using them, which the crowd loved, of course.
6-7 tables.
But what did you think about their use of the props and the weapons?
Yeah, I think they used them very effectively. Again, separating the two main guys, the two team captains, Adam Cole and Tommaso Ciampa. All the other guys are on the other side of the ring. All of them get slammed through tables, and then that one big spot in the end, jumping off the top of the cage, slamming each other through tables.
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely an effective way to use the surroundings.
Yeah, and I think I expected... and maybe it's because they push they push Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic as like these, gigantic high flyers, basically, right? Like Ricochet plus 100 pounds. I kind of expected more ring-to-ring type action, right?
There
more
was
of
that
like,
one blown spot with Strong.
like getting it, like just diving over the ropes, or like bouncing off the ropes from one and jumping into another ring, or maybe like aiming for somebody in one ring, missing and hitting somebody from another ring. I thought that one area that they could have definitely improved was they could have done more ring to ring, whereas it kind of felt more like, okay, we have one set of events going on in one ring, one set of another. Yeah, the players would get moved around occasionally, right, across the chessboard. But there was very little. I mean, you got those two rings right next to each other. You got, this little strip of steel. I thought they'd do more work on the steel.
Oh, there was that Panama Sunrise.
There was a Panama Sun, but I just thought there would be more content. I mean, they had, 35 or 40 minutes, I think. I mean, the match lasted for quite a while, and I thought it was a very solid match. It was an excellent main event. It was a good way to go out. You knew the match was over when the match was over, which is something we have been struggling with a little bit more because AEW has been sort of, I think, playing with the fan base a little bit. You think it's over, and it's not. I mean, when the match was over, you knew that match was over.
Oh, for sure.
Not 1,000 pins, which I liked. In matches like this, you tend to get, especially the group that's the heel group, tends to, punch him and then try and cover to get a quick win or something like that. I didn't see a lot of that, not a lot of that time-wasting distraction type stuff, which was good.
They couldn't pin until all 8 guys were in the match, but then
Yeah.
Kevin Owens was the first one to get a pin, and after he had already taken everyone out with some big move.
What do you think about, obviously, neither one of us were able to predict it. The crowd loved it, mostly because I think they didn't expect it like we did. What were you saying while you were sitting on your couch watching it when you heard his music kick on? And
I said something that I can't repeat on this video.
has he finally recovered from that really, really bad gimmick he got in, that really, really bad story he got in with Shane McMahon? Has he recovered from
I don't
that?
think he's fully recovered. He's getting there, though. He's still one of the top, especially now that Seth Rollins is a heel. He's definitely one of the top baby faces in the company for sure.
Yeah, it seems like they're starting to push him back, and it's more of a and I don't take this comparison lightly, but they're treating it more like a Stone Cold Steve Austin type situation where I'm gonna kind of do whatever I want to do and say whatever I want to say, but I'm gonna happen to do all the things that you, the crowd, the fans want me to do,
Right.
kind of a situation, as opposed to just doing the right thing,
So this story played on into the next night in Survivor Series because Kevin Owens was supposed to be on Team Raw, and he still was, but we'll get into that in our video. But the reason he came back to NXT was just to go after Undisputed Era for attacking him on Raw a week or two ago. So it still fit into the story nicely. It was a great surprise for the crowd. This whole night, the crowd was very, very high, I think.
Yeah, they were.
I think it was only probably during the triple threat match that they really quieted down a bit. But
Yeah, and one last thing I wanted to mention. If you're a fan of the sport and you're watching at home, there's almost like there's a real sort of brand rivalry that's starting to go on, because before, crowd chants weren't as much of a thing, and now it's like every match there's a "This is awesome," or there's an NXT, or there's an AEW, or tables, and it seems like the crowds at each show are starting to take chants for "This is awesome" and chants from each other, and it really seems like AEW and especially NXT, not so much the other brands, are really starting to do an effective job of highlighting the culture that's associated with the brand, and I think it's really going to strengthen both companies going forward. And I think one day pretty soon they might be in a place where I think we were at when we were kids, which was WWF sucks, WCW for life, and WO baby, all that kind of stuff. I think they're definitely on the road to that, which is kind of fun to watch. I'm looking forward to going to an AEW live show whenever I have an opportunity and being a part of that crowd. So please comment below, what was your favorite match? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Love getting that feedback. I always like that thoughtful conversation. And anything else?
no, just remember, if you can't say anything nice, you're a dick.
As always, remember, keep kayfabe, follow the money, and we'll keep wrestling with the business.